What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brooklyn Tides Hot Stove, presented by Moneyline Media. As always, I am here with DeAvila tonight. Tonight, we're being joined by David DeAvila. David, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, staying safe.
So everything that's happening, yes, we are. Yep.
Sir, got the gloves in the background. That means that you are a defensive expert, I assume.
I try to be. I try my best, anyways. Of course, I'm not perfect like anybody else. Everybody else is not perfect, but I do my best.
Love it.
Two-time Gold Glover. What was that like for you? Two-time Gold Glover with the Tides. Tell me about that.
It's an honor. It's definitely an honor. I want my teammates to rely on me. I want my teammates to know that if the ball's ever hit to me, I'm going to be there and they can count on me.
Awesome.
Do you have a favorite defensive moment that you've made playing center field?
Actually, one of my favorite defensive plays for the Tides, it was actually against one of our teammates now. It's Jordan Stark. He hit a ball in the gap. And I kind of just had him played like I thought he was going to hit the ball, and we pitched him. We wanted to pitch him a certain way, and he hit exactly where I thought he was. He hit it very hard, and there was two guys on, and I actually dove right into the fence and prevented the 2 runs from scoring. So that's one of my favorite plays. If Jordan is watching, he hears it. I'm sorry, but I'm glad to have you on now anyways.
How often do you bust his chops about it?
Not that often. We just met the Stark brothers. We've been playing against them for a while, but I don't think we knew them well enough to the point where I could be like, hey, remember that time where you guys, I couldn't get to that point yet, but maybe in the near future we could do it.
Absolutely.
So you joined the team in 2017. What made you join the Tides?
There was a mutual friend whose little brother was on the team, had been playing with them for a few years. And he talked to me about this team from Brooklyn that was he had been on for a while. I think he had played with them in high school. And he was just like, yeah, man, I think we're good. And I think we'd be, lucky to have you. So are you interested? And I said, yeah, man, I'll give it a whirl. The league that we were playing in before that was kind of falling apart. Mm-hmm. Staten Island baseball was run by the TM for a long time. That's where Brothers came from. That's where a lot of the teams had come from. The Wolfpack played in there. And he just, since the league was falling apart, I felt like there was time for change. And Mid-Island was the up-and-coming league. And I joined. He put me on.
Awesome.
So, Dave, I got to ask you here. How does a New York Jets fan become a Red Sox fan? Because I know that New York Jets fans have a little animosity towards that New England area.
Well, listen, I became a Red Sox fan because they're sort of like the Jets. They're the lovable loser. And the Red Sox were the team. I was the kind of guy that I root for the bad guy in the movie. Gotcha. And the Red Sox were hadn't won in a very long time. And growing up with Yankee fans all over, it was just one of those things that it was like, you know what, man, I got to root for the little guy that's always getting beat on. And now recently they turned it around. They're a better team, but for a long time they were the losers.
Yeah, and the Jets are just always going to be the loser team. There's no hope.
No. Listen, come September, I still think the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. So, about the 3rd week into September, I realize that they're not. But at least at the beginning of September, I do believe they're going to win it.
You sound like how I sound every year before the Mets season starts. Yep. I'm always like, yeah, we got this guy, we got this guy, we got this guy, and then by the 2nd week of spring training, all of them are hurt. And there's just nothing to be said for them. But
the Mets always give you a handful of seasons where they kind of keep your hopes up at least through halfway through the year, and then they wait till the All-Star break to kind of fall apart.
Very true, very true. Hopefully, new ownership will change that around.
I hope so. Yes, I'm a Red Sox fan. I wouldn't say I'm a Met fan simply because I don't follow National League Baseball like I do the American League. Right. But if I go to Met games, I will put on the Mets hat and root for the Mets. So. I'm a New York guy through and through. I'm a Knicks fan. Absolutely. But just in baseball, I just can't root for the Yankees, put it that
way. So speaking of the Knicks real quick, last night we did get to see that the Knicks had fans in attendance for the first time this season. So let's bring that into baseball terms here. How excited are you to get back on the field after this whole COVID-19 process has been through?
I'm excited. I'm very excited because I think that the numbers are going down. I'm excited to see fans. And we've been, I think everybody's a little bit tired of everything that's been going on. I mean, we've been doing our best to obviously keep our distance and everything with the masks and pretty much all the protocols. But I think people are excited to to kind of get back to some, regular old, habits that we've had for a long time.
So you obviously play an important part with the Tides, but you're not the only person in your family that plays an important part. I think your wife might rival you in important parts of the Tides, as she not only attends every game, but she records them. How did she get suckered into that?
My wife will pretty much, if I told my wife that tomorrow we had to go to the end of the world, she'd come with me. She's a ride or die. My wife is one of those people that I married a good one. She's a very good person, and she never complains about anything, any endeavors that I ever put her through. So when it came to baseball, I would just say, hey, can you record? It turned into my at-bats and my best friend Chris Romano's at-bats. And then it turned into like, hey, well, Robbie's kind of okay. He's pretty good at baseball. So record Robbie. And then we had a bunch of guys like, hey, man, did you get my? But I'm still waiting on a little, I guess, a little money be sent her way. Like, yeah. Hey, thanks for getting my at-bats. Maybe, here's a 10,
You don't want Robbie anywhere near your wife.
I don't. Listen, I'll tell you a story. Actually, my wife came up to me. She goes, hey, that Robbie kid, he's kind of a nice guy. And I was like, are we like McGuire? And he was like, nah, it's not the same guy. It's definitely not the same guy. But my wife thinks that he's a nice guy, and Robbie's got a lot of fans.
So James recently got engaged over the holidays. Got any advice for him with happy wife, happy life?
Listen, if I could tell James something, I could just tell him a joke that my brother-in-law told me once. And my mom had asked my brother-in-law, and he said it in a very joking manner. He said, 10 years have gone by in your marriage. And she said, it flew by. And he said, yup. He said, 10 years felt like 10 minutes. He said, underwater. So if I could give any advice, it's definitely not like that. Just, just communication is key. If I could give you any advice is don't go to bed angry, always talk things through, and don't ever talk things through when you're upset and raising your voice at each other. Always take a minute to calm down and always speak in a respectful manner, and you'll get along perfectly fine.
I actually don't have to worry about the going to bed angry thing right now because I'm currently sleeping on the floor. My 5-month-old has decided that she can't sleep in her bassinet or swing anymore, and she's now taken over my bed with my fiance, and I'm on the floor for the past 2 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you something. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she still sleeps with us every other night. So
yeah,
pretty much, I would say if you are going to be sleeping on the floor, I invest in a comfortable couch.
I actually don't mind it. It's actually been helping my back out a lot for the past few weeks.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. So now back to COVID here for a second. A few of the other players have gotten a little bit of trouble for their quarantine conditioning. What have you been doing to stay in shape to get ready for this season?
I mean, I work construction, and I just try to stay active with my kids.
Okay.
So we do go on walks. My daughter loves to ride her bike and stuff like that. So I try to stay active like that. We have a track close to the house where I live. I live in New Jersey, and I try to run. I try to do a little bit of cardio, and then strengthening gets into it once I guess the weather breaks. But I mean, I strengthen at work every day. I mean, I'm in construction, and it just keeps me busy. So I'm lifting heavy things all day.
Absolutely. And you're chasing around 2 young ones, correct?
Yes, I have a baby boy who's a year and a half, and I have a 5-year-old daughter who's going on 6 in April.
Awesome.
They keep me busy.
Well, you were not one of the guys that got called out for their off-season conditioning. So.
Nah, I'm definitely not that guy. I try to stay as fit as I can. Obviously, I'm 33. I'm not as young as I once was. I don't have the shape nor the time to go to the gym like Robbie does. But
Robbie has been very busy on TikTok lately.
Well, going back to the young thing, nothing but a bunch of young kids on TikTok, and it would be fitting that Robbie, is still trying to live the dream. Guys like that are 33 like myself are not going to be on TikTok, but it's a personal choice.
You bring up your friend Chris, who I have a statement from the Tides officials, the Tides front office. The Tides and free agent Chris Romano were not able to come to terms on a deal Romano was a vital part of the organization in our 2019 pennant winning season. We would like to thank him for all the memories and wish him the best for him moving forward. So we got to be tough for you. I know Chris, after talking to Stingo, Chris is one of your good friends. What are you going to miss most about playing with him?
I just think that I'm playing with him for so long. I think it's going to be a little bit weird because I've been playing with Chris since I was 12 years old. So it's been a very long time, and he's always been at my side. And it's going to be a little bit weird to not be able to, go down the dugout and find him. But he's my best friend. Chris will always be at our games. So I'm going to miss playing with him, but I know that he's always going to be there to cheer me on because he's my number one.
Awesome. And I think he is moving forward in the Mid-Island League, so you will get a chance to play against them. Is that going to be fun to have kind of a friendly rivalry with your best friend? Absolutely.
And I'm kind of hoping that that he does play and he finds a team. I know he's been talking to a couple of teams, and if he decides to play, but he's also he's at the point where he's tired. He's obviously not as young, and I think his best years are behind him, and he just feels like now it's time to dedicate time. He's got kids as well. Chris has a very successful business. He runs, and he's trying to open other business endeavors that I think that he's just focused on right now, to the point where he's not really focused on baseball that much. And we'll see what happens. I guess time will tell, and whatever he does, I'm going to be supportive of his decisions.
All right. So, Dave, what is, in your opinion, what is your future in baseball?
I think I always play baseball, but unfortunately, people are modest, man. I mean, this league has come a long way. Mm-hmm. It's a compliment to the league. I mean, Mid-Island has come a long, long way. I mean, now you are getting to the point where kids are getting signed to major league, contracts. I mean, you have Division I players. It's not the league that I guess when they started out, right. It has grown so much and good. But I'm at the point where I'm just at the latter years, I guess, of my baseball career, to the point where I don't feel like I have anything to prove anymore on a baseball field. And I'm just to the point where maybe I might tone down the competition and play maybe in the lower division, probably, just because it takes a toll, man. It's a light. I mean, you talk to the guys that have been on here. Yeah. I mean, I hope Andrew Stella comes on here and you can talk to him.
Yeah, that's someone who we're really looking forward to talking to.
Yeah. I mean, he'll tell you. I mean, he shows up an hour and a half for the game. You have to hit balls. It's repetitive, and you're facing top-notch pitching.
I even just talking to Paul, like the amount of work Paul does for it too. He really works his butt off for the Tides, and I give him all the credit in the world for that. And you guys too, keeping in shape and even coming on this show, for half hour on a Wednesday. I know that takes, especially with two kids, that takes time out of your day.
But I'd love to do it. I love the sport so much, and let me tell you something. I don't think Paul gets enough credit. Let me tell you something about Paul. Paul runs the Tides Instagram, and when he first started the Instagram, nobody had one. Okay, and now every single team in Mid-Island has one, and that's an attest to it. It's a compliment to, hey man, people are emulating what you do, and you must be doing something right. And Paul does a lot of work, and a lot of teams, whether they like to admit it or not, are, mimicking what he does.
Totally agree. All right.
So we do have more Tides news here. I'll drop this one down.
Yep.
The Tides have re-signed pitcher Justin Padone. Padone was 2-0 in 4 appearances for the Tides in the summer of 2020 with a 0.00 ERA. I don't think you get lower than that.
Nope.
And 22 strikeouts, only allowing 1 hit. So congratulations, Justin. Congratulations to the Tides being able to come to terms on an agreement.
Okay.
Padone is a workhorse, man, and we are lucky to have him. I mean, he's a great pitcher, throws very, very hard. I mean, it's people. There's people that throw heavy fastballs. I think that like Mitch throws a very heavy ball, and other guys can get it by you because it's the velocity. I think Padone throws a little bit of both. He throws a very hard and very fast, fastball. I mean, you can hear it. You know, when they say that you can hear 90, you can hear his fastball.
Wow.
So we're lucky to have him, and I'm glad we're going to be playing with him, and I'm glad he's a Tide.
Awesome. Dave, what are you hoping for to improve on in this next coming season? I know, like the Stark brothers, when they came on last week, they were like, "Oh, my strikeouts. You know, we strike out way too much." Robbie was talking about maybe pitching more. Well, what is something you want to work on for your maybe your last season?
I just it's always my hitting.
Okay.
You know, I just think that, you know, my defense will be there.
Mhm.
I just have a feeling that I need to contribute a little more with the offense, and you know, it's just that sometimes it's a short season, and the competition is so high that you don't see enough at bats. So for me to contribute, you have to put the work on the side, and I'm gonna do my best to help the team offensively and whatever they ask me.
Awesome. James, I think it's time.
It's time.
Dave and James, I think it's time for Most Likely To. This is, I think, one of the most exciting parts of it because you get to kind of rag on your teammates a little bit and just have a good time. So I will start first with, who is most likely to be the president of the United States out of the Tides?
The president of the United States, I would probably say Andrew Stella.
Okay.
You know how people say that you vote, sometimes they vote on the picture, and he's got a nice smile, so I have a feeling that, you know, Stella could fool a lot of people in the voting booth.
Gotcha.
So, who is most likely to eat an entire bag of sunflower seeds during a game?
It's probably between myself and Paul Stingo. Paul Stingo is the manager, and I think that he finds a lot of the managing answers. Jerry's the manager, but Paul's also the coach, and he finds a lot of decisions in that sunflower seed bag.
I know you're a father of two. Who would you most likely let babysit your children? And who would you least likely let babysit your children?
I mean, I would probably let JP, just because I know that if JP babysat my kids, he would fundamentally teach them baseball. I mean, that kid is textbook, and I think that's the guy that I'd want.
Yeah, teacher too.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
He's a teacher too, and he's got a good aura about him as well. Like, really good.
And the person that I would least probably trust with my kids is probably Robbie.
He always gets the bad ones.
All right. Who's most likely to bat flip on a walk? We pretty much get the same answer for this one every time, but
I mean, everybody knows the clear-cut answer, but I think he started it.
Yeah.
And he's perfected it. But I would say maybe Julian Fernandez would also bat flip during a walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is another question that I know a lot of people love. Who would you most let, if you have a sister, or if not an imaginary sister, who would you most let date your sister, and who would you least likely to let date your sister?
I have two sisters, both older. Nobody. No, if I was to pinpoint one, the clear-cut answer is probably Nate. Nate is a very, very nice guy. Nate is a gentleman, okay, and Nate's got integrity, and he's funny, man. He's got charisma, and that's probably the only person I think that I would say that I would trust with my sisters.
And who would you least let? Everyone else?
Nah, I would give that to everybody on the Tides. We're a bunch of degenerates, and yeah, I wouldn't want you to date my sister.
It's too funny.
Who is most likely to go running after the ice cream truck in the middle of a game?
In the middle of a game,
not like off the field, but like they're on.
Here's what would happen. Okay, Jerry would get up first. Ukes would trip him. They'd stumble over each other, and then Ukes would probably win because he's faster. But that being said, I mean, maybe we need to. I'm gonna have to take some money out of my own account and maybe rent an ice cream truck at our first practice, and we'll see. Bring it to fruition.
Now, your wife is gonna have to record that. That would
She
be.
will. She will. She definitely will.
You know, it's funny. Like when Jerry came on, he obviously talked about Yuke's physique, and then when Yuke's came on, he came on yoked and just in the tight, like probably borrowed from his girlfriend, the tightest Nike tank I've ever seen, just to show off his.
I think I think that was his sister's actually.
His sister.
No, Ukes is in great shape, and
He is.
The one I do make fun of is every time I see Robbie, because Robbie's tip top physique is always at the point where I say, Robbie, are you getting fat? And he always just smiles because he's obviously not fat, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who is most likely to storm the pitcher's mound after getting beamed?
It was Chris Romano.
It was okay.
Yeah, Chris Romano. It would be the kind of guy that would get thrown out of the Mid-Island League for beating somebody up.
All right.
All right. Who's most likely to go into their home run trot and the guy catches the ball at the center field wall?
Robbie Mcguire. Robbie Mcguire actually did that. and JT is one of the umpires in the league, and he actually was making fun of him because he actually hit it and he thought he got it way over the fence and he pimped it, almost threw the bat into the dugout. That's how high he pimped the bat.
Wow.
And it actually hit like the bottom of the fence. So I think a better center fielder would have probably
made that.
He would have caught it.
Who is most likely to be like the best UFC fighter? If someone had to go into the UFC, who would be the best at it?
I mean, I'd probably give that to myself.
Nice.
I think I could get into the octagon. I wrestled in high school, and
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
yeah, I have a little bit of background, so I think I would be pretty decent at it. You know, it's not exactly a boxing match. There's a couple of guys on our team who were boxers. There's a couple of guys in the league that are boxers, but obviously getting into the octagon, you have to be pretty good at a bunch
Everything.
of
Yeah.
All right. Who's most likely to forget their glove at home? And I really hope it's not you.
Nah, that's
There's no way.
most likely to forget their glove. Fonzie to forget his glove. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that one's easy.
Who
Has he
would-
forgotten his glove before?
I think he forgot his pants one time.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah, you need those.
Yeah, definitely.
Who would most likely to pay the bar tab at the end of the night?
Probably Will Turbert.
Will Turbert.
Yeah.
Who's
That's
least?
a new answer.
No, we've gotten him.
Have
I've
we
gotten
gotten
him a little bit. Who is least likely to like? Who's gonna bail out before he pays his half?
Robbie Mcguire. Robbie Mcguire.
That one we get.
That
a
we've
lot.
heard.
He played 2 seasons of baseball with broken laces in his glove. Okay, you can't trust a guy that has broken laces in his glove. You can't.
He really does like get all the bad answers. Like it's always Robbie.
All right.
Yeah, that would be my answer.
Who's most likely to like dress the flashiest? Like, you know that big Yoenis Cespedes chain with the number 52 on it in the gold embedded?
Our shortstop, Louis. I can see Louis with a big chain. Yeah, he's got that kind of swag, you know.
I think we've heard. I'm not sure, but I think we've heard your name before too in this, haven't we?
I think we have, yes.
Wear a chain. They lie to you.
I don't even have one at all.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we've heard his name before. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but I think we've heard your name with it. Who has the best style?
There's a bunch. I mean, I think overall, there's a handful of guys that obviously have a good style. The Stark brothers are very neat, always very well dressed. Like I said, our shortstop Louis, you know, overall, I mean, they all have, you know, they don't mismatch equipment. There's a handful of guys that do, but they don't mismatch equipment. The only one that has the worst style is Robbie Mcguire. Robbie Mcguire wears his Seton Hall equipment, and it's just to the point where it's like Nobody on our
man.
team. We have a bunch of guys who play college baseball. Nobody wears their college equipment except for Robbie Mcguire.
No,
I ask anybody on the team. I still don't know what school he went to, but he wears his college equipment.
I love it. Who's most likely to get their uniform dirty for no reason, like making diving plays or sliding for just no reason?
Between me and Nate.
We've heard Nate. We have heard Nate for that one.
Yeah, we slide and get dirty.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's been times where I've been pulling in the third, and I thought there was a throw behind it, and I slid. And Paul goes, "I told you stand up," and I'm like, "I can't hear nothing. All I hear is the wind going through my helmet." So I have slid for no reason.
That's the greatest excuse, by the way. When you tell your third base coach, "I couldn't hear you. Too much wind."
That's the truth.
I was flying.
If you were to become general manager of a baseball team, who's the first person you would hire to be a coach?
JP.
JP.
Nice. JP is, like I said, JP and Stellar textbook. I think that's somebody that you want to build a team around because you know that we are going to be fundamentally sound. Both of those guys, like I said, JP is one of those guys. JP coaches, I mean, I think from 4-year-olds to 40-year-olds. I mean, he coaches. So he's got a lot of experience.
Awesome.
Who's most likely, and we're going to rule out Paul and Jerry on this one. Who's most likely to complain to you about missing the cutoff man?
Andrew Stella. Andrew Stella will let you know, yo, man, you threw to the wrong guy.
Awesome. And last one for tonight. If you had to, if you had to go on vacation with someone, one of the Tides, it's just you and one of the Tides, who would you want it to be?
Robbie gets us into too much trouble.
Nah, I wouldn't take Robbie. I think Fonzie would be a good time, man. Fonzie's got charisma. I think that that's somebody that, you're gonna go hang out with them. You're gonna spend the week with them, and you're gonna be on vacation with them. I think that he'd be fun to be around.
Awesome, Dave. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hold on, Dave. Before you go, that glove on the bottom rack, on the corner spot. No, the other side. It was your body wasn't covering it. It's the bottom one. It's the old style glove. That glove's incredible.
It's from the 20s, actually. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, that thing is incredible, man. I've been eyeing it the whole time.
This is a Rawlings.
Yep.
Oh my
from the
God.
20s.
Love it.
That's awesome.
You obviously you couldn't catch the ball any other way but like this.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's one of my oldest gloves. It's probably worth something, but
Definitely. It's
it's
incredible.
just something. Put it this way: listen, if we make the championship again, I'm gonna put this on the last inning.
Yes.
I like it.
We're holding you to that.
Don't make the error with it.
I hope not. I definitely hope not. But I'll do my best.
Awesome.
And
Dave,
if anything, my wife will record it and you guys be able to see it.
that's true. Sports Center, not top 5.
Right.
Dave, thanks so much for coming on, man. We can't wait to have you back on. Best of luck in the season and best of luck with your little munchkins.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one, man.
Take care, man. Stay safe. Stay well, buddy.
Likewise.
All right. That was David DeAvila of the Brooklyn Tides, and this has been your Brooklyn Tides Hot Stove Report. David's an awesome dude. Great center fielder, 2-time Gold Glove winner. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Come back next week. We will be doing on Tides. We'll have another one, a different day. Sorry, Tides a different day. It'll be
Next
on
week.
Tuesday. Yep.
Ooh.
Awesome. All right, and that's it for us.
Stay safe. Stay well. Stay hydrated.